I'm continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order according to events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around just a little bit. Right now, I am in Exodus, and this is chapter 23. This does contain some Joseph Smith translations in it, which Joseph Smith translation is an inspired correction or translation of the Bible done by Joseph Smith to restore those portions that had been lost over the years. So, now the chapter is a little long. It may take 2 videos to get through it. Chapter 23. The Lord reveals his laws pertaining to integrity and godly conduct. Land shall rest during a sabbatical year. Israel shall keep 3 annual feasts. An angel bearing the Lord's name shall guide them. Sickness shall be removed. Nations of Canaan shall be driven out gradually. Here we go. Thou shalt not raise a false report. Put not thine hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment. Neither shalt thou countenance a poor man in his cause. This is our Joseph Smith translation. He changes the poor man to wicked man. And that makes a whole lot more sense. So let's talk about these first 3 verses real quick. Raise a false report, put thine hand with the wicked. So no, you don't. This goes back to thou shalt not bear false witness. You don't gossip. You don't spread lies. Verse 2, you don't follow the crowd. If the crowd is wrong, you stay with the right. You can't use the excuse that, well, everybody else was doing it, so I thought it was okay. That is not a valid excuse. And then neither shalt thou countenance a wicked man in his cause. In other words, if a man is engaged in wickedness, you don't try to justify him. You don't help him. You don't do it. You tell him he's doing wrong. Now, this is one that in modern day, again, we're going to get controversial here. You're going to get a lot of controversy with the law of God as stated in the books of Moses. So, those who support the homosexual agenda, homosexual movement, this verse condemns them. You don't countenance a wicked man in his cause. Doesn't matter why he's doing it. Doesn't matter if he thinks he's right. If he is wrong, you do not help him. And you do not justify him. Verse 4. If thou meet thine enemy's ox or his ass going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again. If thou see the ass of him that hateth thee lying under his burden, and wouldest forbear to help him, thou shalt surely help with him. Thou shalt not wrest the judgment of thy poor in his cause. Keep thee far from a false matter, and the innocent and righteous slay thou not, for I will not justify the wicked. Okay, I like this. If your neighbor's animals are wandering off, you bring them back. Even if you don't like the neighbor, you bring his animals back. If you hate your neighbor, but his animal is straining and unable to do the work that he needs done, you go help him. It doesn't matter what your personal feelings are. You help those who are in need. Okay, now I do want to say here on these When it says in his cause, and countenance a poor man in his cause, do not countenance a wicked man in his cause, and here do not rest the judgment of thy poor in his cause. This is talking about primarily like lawsuits, complaints that are being made. If a wicked man is making a wicked complaint, you don't support him in that. So, and that I would say not just in civil cases where you're suing for money, but also legal matters where you're trying to alter the law. These kind of things. This is what it means by in their cause. We don't we don't support those who are trying to game the system and get rich through lawsuits. We don't support those who are trying to change the laws to support wickedness. We stick with what is right. Verse 8. And thou shalt take no gift, for the gift bindeth the wise, and perverteth the words of the righteous. Also thou shalt not oppress a stranger, for ye know the heart of a stranger, seeing ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. And 6 years thou shalt sow thy land, and shalt gather in the fruits thereof. But the 7th year thou shalt let it rest and lie still, that the poor of thy people may eat. And what they leave, the beasts of the field shall eat. In like manner thou shalt deal with thy vineyard and with thy olive yard. 6 days thou shalt do thy work, and on the 7th day thou shalt rest, that thine ox and thine ass may rest, and the son of thy handmaid, and the stranger may be refreshed. And in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect, and make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of thy mouth. So, no bribery. That's what verse 8 is. Take no gift. So, don't accept bribes. Don't oppress people. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. But I do like the sabbatical year. You have your harvest every 6 years. You grow your stuff. You do all that. You plant, you tend, you harvest. But in the 7th year, you do not plant, you do not tend, and you do not harvest. You leave it to grow on its own. And this was done largely so that in that year, other people could come and gather and this was a way of helping the poor out. We're going to leave it, whatever grows, anybody can come and take. In the next year, we start planting, tending, and harvesting again. But during that 7th year, during that sabbatical year, we leave it alone so that those who do not have enough can come and get some. What I also like that he talks about the Sabbath is not just a rest for men, it's a rest for animals. It's a rest for the land, for all of nature. The Sabbath is not just for men, it's for everything. Let us read a little more here. Verse 14. 3 times thou shalt keep a feast unto me in the year. Thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread. Thou shalt eat unleavened bread 7 days, as I commanded thee, in the time appointed of the month Abib. For in it thou camest out from Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty. And the feast of harvest, the first fruits of thy labors, which thou hast sown in the field, and the feast of ingathering, which is in the end of the year, when thou hast gathered in thy labors out of the field. Three times in the year all thy males shall appear before the Lord God. Thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread, neither shall the fat of my sacrifice remain until the morning. The first of the first fruits of thy land thou shalt bring into the house of the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not seethe a kid in his mother's milk. So 3 feasts, and on these 3 feasts, everybody, all the men, have to go to the temple, make their sacrifices. And as the 3 times, remembering the Passover, that's in the spring, Feast of Harvest, and the Feast of Ingathering. Exactly what it means is a little fuzzy there, because I would assume the ingathering and the harvest are basically the same thing. But I'm sure we'll get more details. I know we get more details on these feasts later on. This is a very brief overview, kind of just naming the feasts. I'm going to end this video here. We did take a little longer than normal, but we'll finish up chapter 23 in the next video.